Okay guys, I'm going to show you some examples for 7.4 trig. I'm going to break this up into two videos because there's two different parts that you're going to use. So the first thing is just setting up your trig ratios. That's when you use SOHCAHTOA. You always want to write SOHCAHTOA on the top of your paper, and you want to make sure you don't spell it wrong, because if you spell it wrong, then it's not going to be helpful. So you can only use trig for right triangles. These trig ratios can only be used for right triangles. So I'm going to call this triangle A, B, and C, and I'm going to give it 3, 4, 5. Now, let's say it asks for the sine of A. For sine of A, I'm going to be using this trig ratio right here. So here's the A, and it doesn't matter, but always you can label your H right away, because your H is always going to be your hypotenuse. So according to the green right here that's highlighted, that we have two options. We have adjacent and opposite. So this is always our hypotenuse, and then this is going to be our opposite because it's across from the A. So that's the opposite, and this is the adjacent. So when I'm looking at the sine, this is going to be using the opposite over the hypotenuse. So the opposite is 4 over 5. So the sine of A equals 4/5. So let's say they said, oh, I want to find what the angle A is for. Sometimes they're just going to stop here, but sometimes they're going to say, find the angle A. So if they tell you to find the angle A, you would set this part up, and that's why they tell you to stop here on some of them, because they want you to get used to knowing what these three trig ratios are. But when you're doing this, to find the angle A, you would do A would be equal to the sine inverse of 4/5. And then that's when you would use your calculator. And I don't actually have a calculator with me right now, but whatever your approximation would be for this, you have to have a scientific calculator to do it. So that is what your answer would be for A, and you'd get some sort of degrees right here. Okay, I hope that helped.